Hey everyone, this is Itai, the co-founder of Dynamic, and what I want to show you guys today is this cool set of features that we're launching around key management. It's specifically called, in a very marketing name, so bear with me, TSS-MPC, so Threshold Signature Based Multi-Party Computation. What that really means is that rather than having a key at all, we actually have different shares of keys, and there's no private key that secures things. So there's a share that sits with the customer, there's a share that sits with the server, and through some sort of ceremony they sign. So it's a very good way to secure private keys by just not having private keys at all. So I wanted to show you guys a couple of things that you can do with Dynamics embedded wallet, now that we have MPC. So at the very basic level, if you've ever gone to our demo.dynamic.xyz, you'll be familiar with this environment, which just shows the dynamic kind of UI widget and the different things you can do with it, right? So you can customize it to look exactly like you want. You can change designs and themes and so on. But where I really want to focus is the key management experience. So if you go to demo.dynamic today, or you go to this environment and you click continue, the same thing pretty much happens. So as a user, the experience doesn't change. So you still kind of log in, you've generated a wallet, and you can sign messages or sign transactions or do anything of that sort. So you can start building really sophisticated stuff. But what's really magical here is that we now use MPC in order to secure things. So in this setup, you actually have an iframe embedded here, and that has the user share that the user retrieved when they logged in. And there's a server share on the Dynamic side that Dynamic secures in an encrypted way, where during that signature, when I clicked sign, this user signed, Dynamic in a trusted execution environment, so in a TE, signed the server share, and together through a ceremony, a signature kind of happened, right? And so we did this in a way where no private key was generated. So that's a very basic setup, identical to what you see today, but where MPC starts getting interesting is actually not this part, rather when you go into headless mode and you start seeing a bunch of the optional features you can have with Dynamic. So we'll go into this environment, and I've created kind of a few wallets, but let me create a new one. This is headless mode. You can do this via an API. You can do this with React hooks. And what's really cool is that you now have choice. So you can choose a 2 out of 2, which is what we just saw, right? So the ability to generate a customer share and a server share. You can back it up. We automatically back it up through a proxy, through a secure proxy to encrypt that backup share. So when you log into your new device, it just kind of works. But you can go further. So you can do a 2 out of 3 setup. You can do a 3 out of 5. You can do more sophisticated setups if you reach out to us. And so you as a developer start getting this flexibility to build the right setup for your tools, right? So I've generated 2 out of 3. One is stored with Dynamic. 2 shares are stored here. I can store one of them in an iCloud or Google Drive. And at that point, if Dynamic's not around, I still have the 2 of 3 shares to do recovery. Right, so you can start building more sophisticated stuff. So we saw signed message before, but you can do the same. I'll sign message here, and it'll kind of just work in a 2 out of 3, and a 3 out of 5, and a 2 out of 2. And based on the setup, you'll see kind of speed differentials. But you can start doing more sophisticated stuff. So first, you can import a key. So if you kind of have a key that's external, you can import that. We use for that part a Shamir secret way to break up the key one time, and at that point we use TSS-MPC in order to not have a key exist going forward. You can start doing more sophisticated things like backing up to Google if you want. You can reshare shares, so you can keep the public key and reshare the different shares that control it. You can actually start moving from one aspect to another. So if a user starts and they have $0 in their wallet, you can start with a 2 out of 2. But then as they want to graduate to more security, you can say, hey, take a second share and store that on Google Drive, or download that, or store that in a different way. Or even if you're a more sophisticated organization, store one of those with you for independence from Dynamic. So if the Dynamic service is unavailable, folks still have access. So you can reshare from 2 of 3, for instance, to a 3 of 5. So this all happens dynamically, I guess pun intended, where the user can start moving in different options, and you as a developer have a lot more tools based on the setup that's right for you. And that's where it starts getting cool, right? You can export things. You can do things like offline export, right? So if I have 2 of the 3 shares and a 2 of 3, I can do this without Dynamic being online. So you can start building these really sophisticated tools that ensure non-custody during kind of this MPC setup. So there's a lot more things going on here. I recommend going to our TSS-MPC docs and start reading about our architecture, how embedded wallets happen, how recovery can happen, how independent recovery can happen without dynamics. So if you look at advanced features, you can start reading through things there. Reach out to us if you want to play around with this. This is actually starting to roll out very, very quickly with some select partners. So please reach out to us if you want to play around. I will end with this, which is we are very bullish MPC. You can start doing these really sophisticated setups that work with server-side wallets, work with embedded wallets and client-side wallets based on your use case in a super secure way. And we're kind of thrilled to roll this out. So that's all I had. Wanted to share. Reach out to us for any questions. I appreciate the time, and that's all I had. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.